So I am back with another update of the best current accounts for you, for your banking here in the UK in February 2021, as well as giving you the rundown of what the different accounts that are out there, what they're doing if you're thinking of changing your bank. I've also got a little bit of news for you about a new bank that's going to be on its way here in the next couple of months potentially, and also some information about what's going on with bank switching, which might give you an idea of the banks that are doing well and the banks you might want to ignore. I'm Andy Webb from BeCleverWithYourCash.com. Welcome to my channel. This is the place to be if you want to make the most of your money, as well as regular updates like this on the best bank accounts, savings accounts, credit card offers and promotions. I talk a lot about the ways you can save money, make money, better manage your money, better spend your money. So if you don't want to miss any of those, please do hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell that pops up right next to it, and you won't miss any of those videos. Now let's start off. Now, before I go into the top account, see what's changed since my last video, I'll give you a little bit of information, a little bit of news as to the things that are coming your way. And one of them is potentially quite interesting, and it is a brand new bank. We haven't had one of these for a few years now. The Monzo and Starling, which came along, which were digital only banks, they're kind of the last sort of big new banks we had. And they've been about 3, 4, 5 years that they've been around. This new one is going to be like that. It's going to be a digital only bank, so there won't be any branches. And it's also been built from the ground up, designed explicitly to be used on a smartphone. Now, the reason other banks, Monzo and Starling, and this new bank are doing this is because they say that gives them so much more flexibility. And if you've used any other bank's app, you'll see that sometimes it can be a bit clunky, and every time they do an update, it doesn't always quite work as much as you like. And that's because they're trying to deal with all these different systems. So in theory, the promise of a brand new bank could be quite exciting. And if it can do things similar to what Monzo and Starling do, then that could be good news. Now, actually, this bank, though, is not from a complete brand new startup. It's actually from an American giant. We've probably all heard of JP Morgan. Well, they have a big banking brand in the States called Chase. It's one of the biggest banks out there. And that's what they're going to do. It's going to be a Chase bank here in the UK. Now, they haven't said when this is going to happen. They said in the coming months. So maybe we'll get it sooner rather than later, maybe in the spring. But you never know. Potentially it could be pushed back later. But when we do get all the information about it, when it is launched, I absolutely will give you all the details here on the channel. This isn't obviously the first time that a big American bank has sort of come over and tried to do this. We had Goldman Sachs launch the Marcus digital bank, 2 or 3 years ago, and it was only a savings account. So there was no current account, with only a savings account, but it was for a long time the market leading easy access savings account. It offered the best rate. So if Chase want to do something similar, they want to try and get people to sign up and join them, there could well be a bundle of incentives or other sort of propositions to make us ditch the banks we're established with and move over. So again, looking forward to hearing more about that, and I will promise I'll update you as soon as I know more. Now, one other thing I want to share with you is we've just had the figures released for bank switching for going back a while now. It's going back from July, August and September of 2020. That's the last time they've reported on those details. And I thought it's worth just sharing with you quickly which banks have done well and which ones haven't done very well, because I think it's quite interesting to kind of get an idea of who people are switching to and why. Now, the big figures, I've got them written down here. The big winners were Halifax, which got an extra 33,000 people opening their account. Lost 10,000 people moved away. So it's a net gain of 23,000. They're the ones who got the most new customers, new current accounts opened via the switching service in that period. Lloyd's got the next number of most people joining them. 18,000 new accounts were opened, but 10,000 people left, would give them a net gain of 8,000. Now, I think the reason that those two accounts did so well, got the most new customers switching to them in that period, is actually really quite obvious. They're the ones in August and September that came out with the first bank switching promos, which we hadn't had all year. So that's absolutely why they got so many customers, people moving over for the money. Now, obviously, that makes a big reason why they offer that is because obviously it works. People want to switch bank for free money rather than other reasons. But what's surprising is the next two banks that got the most new customers. In fact, in terms of net gain, so the number of new customers they got minus the customers they lost, they were second and third, are Starling and Monzo. Starling had a net gain of 12,500 new accounts. Monzo had a net gain of 9,000 new accounts. So this is on the flip side of it. People are switching for cash bonuses with the likes of Halifax and Lloyd's, but they're also switching for a better banking experience. And absolutely, Starling and Monzo do offer that. And when we get to my pick of the different banks later on, I'll go into more detail. Very quickly, the ones that are losing out, the ones that have lost the most customers in that period were HSBC with minus 15,000 net. They lost, in fact, 21,000. They gained a few, but 15,000 less customers, HSBC, in that 3-month period last year. Santander, they lost 21,000 as well, but they gained 11,000, losing 10,000 customers in total, 10,000 accounts switched away from in total in that period. And that's again a good idea of that those accounts, people have been with them for a long time, but they're not really offering too much in return. Now, I'm sure next time we see these figures for the rest of that quarter, those HSBC ones will jump up because they had a big switching offer, £175. Whereas with Santander, those customers, they're going partly because of the cuts that we're seeing to the Santander 123 account. There were a number of them last year, 2 or 3 of them where things changed, fees changed, cashback changed, interest rates changed, people ditching it. And that's happening again. If you watch my savings accounts, best savings accounts video from earlier in the week, you'll know that Santander 123 account is halving its interest from 0.6% to 0.3% in April 2021. Now, if you've already got that account, hopefully, if you had that account, you've hopefully already switched away from it because it's a bit of a rubbish account. It's a dud account. If you haven't, you absolutely should be getting away from it. And I've explained more detail of that over on the blog with an article that you can read if you want to explain why you are much better with the Santander 123 Lite account, which doesn't give you interest but still gives you cash back on your bills, and putting your money into different savings accounts. But anyway, the focus here is on the best current accounts for you and your money. So let me quickly run through any updates, any changes that you need to know about compared to last month. If you didn't watch that video, that is still available. But essentially, the best accounts are still the same accounts. So if you're looking for something which is just a good banking experience, as I mentioned, my top pick are Starling and Monzo. I would give them both a try, see which one you like, because I think a lot of the time it comes down to personal taste. Monzo is particularly good for budgeting and help you saving money and things like that. That's fantastic for that. Whereas Starling's, that's kind of, I feel, a much better kind of a super, an enhanced banking experience. So all the little things you can do, it just makes it a lot easier. They're both very good. Starling, for me personally, is the one that works best, but I absolutely can appreciate why Monzo can be a lot better for some people. So they are absolutely my top banks. Let's talk about changing your bank for an incentive. There are not many of these. I told you about before, they all disappeared when we went into lockdown last spring in 2020. Only came back when we came out of that in August, September. Then they disappeared again in December. And we still haven't had any new bank switching bonuses appear in December or January. The only ones that are still available, there are 3 that are still available that haven't disappeared that you might want to look at, because you never know, they could disappear again along with the others. They might stay around, that there's no harm, there's no way to know for sure. But I think it's unlikely we'll see any other new ones appear until we are out of lockdown again. So there are 3 to look at. In fact, only 2 of them are switching bonuses, actually. One of them is that Virgin Wines one, which I spoke about before. There's a whole video looking at the Virgin Wines account if you want to check that out. Switch to Virgin Money, you will get £180 worth of Virgin Wine. I think I said Virgin Wine account there. It's a Virgin Money account, but you get free Virgin Wine, £180 worth of Virgin Wine. Realistically, I think it's more akin to about £100, £120 worth of wine, but yeah, that's splitting hairs, isn't it? Do that, switch over, have some direct debits that you move over, you will get that. But you'll also get access to some high-paying interest accounts. In your main Virgin Money current account, you'll get 2.02% on the first £1,000 there. And you will have a linked savings account, a normal easy access savings account where there's no limit on how much you can save there, earning 0.5%. Obviously, those rates could change at any time. They are variable, they could drop down, but it's a pretty decent proposition. So if you've got a spare account right now that you want to switch to somebody else, you may as well get hold of that wine, as long as you're a drinker, and get hold of that savings interest while it's there, while it's available. The other one to think about is with First Direct. Now, they used to offer £100 for switching in and then £100 if you left, which is a weird one, but potentially £200 on offer. They've only now offered the £100 if you leave. And you have to be there within 6 months. So you can't leave until you've been there for 6 months, and you have to leave before you've been there for 12 months. There are a few other criteria that you need to meet, so do check those details out. But maybe right now, if we're not thinking we're going to see any new switching bonuses for a while, this could be a good one to open that account. You do need to switch over to First Direct in order to be eligible for the bonus when you leave, right? But if you do that now, open that account, switch into it, have it for 6 months, see what you think. But potentially that might mean if we are getting new switching bonuses back in the summer and you're not happy with it, you can move from Verse Direct, switch to another one to get another bonus, but still get that bonus for leaving. So that's worth thinking about. The only other free cash, this isn't for switching, it's for actually just opening the account, is over at TSB with its spend and save account. I've mentioned this before, it's via Quidco, the cashback site Quidco. Go in there, as long as you're signed up. If you're not a member, by the way, do check out the notes below because you can get a £17 bonus the first time you shop with Quidco, as long as you spend £10, but that's a sideline, right? Go via Quidco and you can get between, it varies the amount, between sort of around 30 quid and 60 quid for opening one of these new TSB spend and save accounts. Now, there are different criteria for opening the account and getting this cash back, so do check that out. You have to pay in a certain amount of money every month for 4 months and things like that, to the spend and save criteria. The spend and save criteria, I think, is a bit of nonsense. You have to spend on your debit card, I think it's something like 30 times a month or something ridiculous to get £5 back. But they're separate, so you don't have to do that to get the Quidco cash back, but you have to fulfill that other criteria if you want to get the spend and save cash back. Does that make sense? I've got more details of all of this over on the blog. In fact, all the accounts that I'm talking about right now, things can change between my monthly updates. So make sure you do head over to the blog, becleverwithyourcash.com, and check out my big, huge, massive, very, very long article, which takes you through all the different bank incentives and offers and different things that are going on right now. I will link to that below the video and up here in the top corner so you can click through and check that out. And while we're at it, by the way, if you are finding this video interesting, if you are finding this useful, you think you're going to save some money or make some money, please do hit that like button. It really does make a huge amount of difference in helping other people find this video. Right, they're the main incentives that are on right now. In fact, the only incentives right now. So if you're after some free money, check that out. Let's quickly go through some of the other things that are worth thinking about with your bank. Now, the main one, let's get my list up here. The really important one, as I always mention, is overdrafts. Now, with an overdraft, if you go into your overdraft at all right now, you're likely to be charged around 40% in interest. It's a huge amount of money, one of the most expensive ways to borrow. So ideally, you don't want to use your overdraft. If you are using it occasionally, you've got a few options. Still, M&S and First Direct are the two banks which will give you a £250 interest-free buffer. So they're worth thinking about if you occasionally dip into it. If you've got a larger overdraft, the Nationwide Flex Direct account will give you an interest-free overdraft for 1 year. How much you get will depend on your credit score, but you can check this beforehand. You can do an eligibility check just to see what you would get. But they're really, really important. One of the most important reasons to change your bank, actually, if you're likely to go overdrawn. In terms of rewards, again, once more, my top picks are still the Halifax Rewards account and the Club Lloyd's current account. I would, as I've said before, hesitate in opening one of these up right now for a couple of reasons. One, you might as well wait and see if a switching bonus comes back so you get some free cash. But two, although they give away a variety of different things, the main freebies are cinema tickets and movie rentals, which right now aren't really worth a huge amount. You're not going to be able to go and see anything at the cinema, and there's very few new releases worth renting on the rental services. I'm not saying don't do it, but personally I would hold back, but they are definitely still my top picks for reward accounts. Not forgetting that Santander 123 Lite account I mentioned earlier on, we get cash back on your bills. They're the main things to talk about. What else is it worth talking about? No point really mentioning spending overseas right now because we're not going abroad, although the Monzo and Starling do allow you to do that. So they're going to cover you for those ones if you're interested to do that. I think finally the last one to talk about maybe is ethical banking. I like to kind of remind people that where they put their money is something they don't always consider can have a much larger impact on the ethical issues they care about, the environment, so tobacco, all sorts of things, arms trade. Where you put your money, the account that your money is sitting in, current account, savings account, whatever it is, can actually have a much, much, much greater impact than anything else you try and do, recycling or whatever it is, cutting down X or Y. Because that money that is sitting in your bank is often being used to fund those practices, lending money to those guys, investing in those guys. If you want to make sure your money is green or doing good, so to speak, rather than doing bad, then you want to look at the high street banks. The main sort of ones is Nationwide. Yes, it's a building society. Actually, that's why it's probably more ethical. Building societies tend to be more ethical than the banks. Nationwide does very well. Starling does very well. The most ethical of all the banks, and I do sometimes get comments about why I haven't mentioned Triodos. Triodos is the really, really, really super ethical bank, and potentially I'll do something on that in more detail another time. The reason I don't mention it a huge amount of time is that it has a £3 monthly fee for your current account. You don't get anything in return other than the fact that your money is proactively going towards good investments and good causes. Now, you might be happy to do that, but I'm doing these videos for the masses, and actually I think Nationwide, Starling, probably decent bets. Metro and Co-op also score relatively well. Loads of information there. Hopefully that's helped you think about where you want to do your banking this month. I'll be back with another one of these updates in just a month's time. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of those. And don't forget as well, check the link in the description below, which will take you through to the blog with the big article with all the links and more details, the terms and conditions for all the accounts that I've mentioned today. Until next time, cheers. And here are a couple more videos you might find interesting.